everybody, and welcome back to the non-league adventure with me, GW365, playing as Eastleigh FC in League 2. The Sky Bet League 2, if you will. If you cast your eyes over here, you might have already seen that we are actually promoted. Now, I know I said in the last video it'd be promotion, that if we play Wrexham to see if we could get promoted. It wasn't actually that I was meaning, and what I was thinking was if we win the league. Because I think promotion was pretty much nailed on, and as it turned out, it was. We've done it with 2 games to spare. We had a game in hand against Wrexham, which we did indeed play and destroy Wrexham. If you've seen in the top right-hand corner, we won 5-1 after a disappointing 0-0 draw against Coventry. We'll just go into those games now. So yeah, as you can see here, the last time out we played Crewe. We won 3-0 away from home, thanks to goals from Callum Saunders and Adil Nabi picking up the other goal. Then an Adil Nabi brace was enough to beat Chesterfield. He did actually miss a penalty after that, missing out on getting a hat-trick. And then we followed that up with a disappointing 2-2 draw against Lowley Ebbsfleet. I say Lowley, I think they were about 17th or something like that. But we did get 2 goals again, which was also obviously pleasing. But we did surrender 2 leads, because we went 1-0, 1-1, 2-2. Sorry, 1-0, 1-all, 2-1, 2-2 in that order. Coventry then, obviously at home, not many chances. We had the best of them, but there was literally about 2 highlights all game, so very disappointing. But not as disappointing as a loss like the Bristol Rovers one. And Coventry are fairly high in the table, although they had been doing fairly poorly. Manager Dean Saunders, remember him? He was in danger of getting a sack, so maybe he had a point to prove. I did have to give an inspiring team talk that kind of went a bit, like, shockingly. Not shockingly, but like it split the main team, but the players that were affected the most negatively were like the first team starters. Whereas in the next game I got offered the chance to do another pep talk again, and this time I went for the one that seemed to affect all the first teamers, and as you can see that's what happened. And this was, bear in mind, against a team that I don't think we'd beaten, and had not beaten the manager apparently in all my time as a football manager on this save. So thanks to Callum Gerardo Martin playing excellently, getting 2 assists and 2 goals, showing really that he really wants to stay here. I've offered quite a few contracts out. I will go through them very shortly after just explaining that we've got Port Vale, who are 22nd in the league. Don't let that fool you though, because earlier on in the season we were 2-0 up against them and we drew 2-2. I remember it very fondly. They were in a very similar position, if not even lower, and they still wanted to take points off us. Then obviously we're going to follow that up with a game against Accrington. We're going to do a double barrel game here. I will probably cut out bits in between games, just to try and fit the games in basically. So going back into the contract situation, if I just go to the news bulletin here, should be the last one, second to last one even. You can see here the ones I have offered and ones I'm going to be letting go. So I'm going to probably be letting the Ginger Quift Assassin go. I just don't think he's going to cut it in the league above. I don't think he's going to be, dare I say, fast enough, and his mentals kind of let him down. A surprise inclusion probably is Bobby Mosley. I just think technically he's not going to be good enough. Mentally he's probably just about there, but he's our captain, and I find it hard to change captains because I don't want to upset the team. And you know, it's one of them. Do I sign him on? I mean, maybe you can let us know in the comments below. But do I let him stay on for another season? He's not really going to improve much more now. He's 25 years old. He's taken up nearly. He's going to be taking close to $1,000 a week if I do sign him on. Plus agent fees, which I've had to pay out. I reckon I've had to pay out about £35,000–40,000 in agent fees alone, which is a pain in the dick. But yeah, I will be sad to see him go, because he has performed quite admirably in the last couple of years. But I think if I'm going to strengthen it, it probably will be the left back position. The reason you might be thinking, well, Jake Isn't you're offering him a contract and he's only 2.5 star. This is a guy I want to be captain. He's got leadership 14, determination 13, teamwork's only 10, but and work rate's 12. But he is a better candidate, I think, for a captain's role, if you know what I mean, because Bobby Mosley, he's got 10 determination, 11 leadership and only 10 teamwork, so you can see he's vastly better in all departments. I've offered all the backroom staff 2 years this time, as opposed to just a 1 year, which I seem to have only been able to offer every year so far. So that's that sorted. Liam Grunshaw, he's only deemed a 2-star player, which is appalling to me, but the fact that he's only 2'6" probably is instrumental in me deciding not to sign him up for another year. I don't know how to feel about these because he's valued at 13k despite being 2 months away. Um, and teams that have been interested in him have been like teams in higher leagues. I'm not sure if this is a false reading. I don't know. I know that he's over 25. He's 26 now, and maybe his technical ability isn't as good as what I probably think is good enough for the next season, especially if I usually use him at right back. His crossing's only 5, so maybe we are going to need to let him go. Joe Partington, I'm sad to let him go. If I'm being completely honest, it's mainly for the reason that you can see right at the bottom of his attribute list, and that is because he's undergoing treatment for knee tendonitis. He's 31 years old. He's probably not going to get to any sort of real fitness and quality that we're going to need going forward, and as a result, I am probably going to have to let him go against my better, not judgment, because I think it's a sound judgment, but I know the fans are going to not like it. Probably the same with John Maxted. He's another who's not really featured. Featured a couple of games when Jääskeläinen was on international duty or travelling from to and from. But he's another one. He's fairly expensive on a week-by-week basis for a backup keeper. I'll probably look to get a young, up-and-coming keeper to challenge Will Jääskeläinen. But as you can see, I've offered contracts to Adel Nabi. He's probably going to be the highest earner. To Josh Murray, Callum Saunders, Gerardo Martin, Hesenthaler, and Akil Wright, who has been with us a while now, since our Vanarama National League days. He's done really, really well for us this season. 7.24 average rating for the season, which is very pleasing indeed. After joining on the free, after being on loan from Plymouth the season before. So on to today's game. Like I say, it's against Port Vale, who are trying to avoid relegation. They are just outside the relegation spots at the minute. It's Crawley, Catcham, Barrow are well and truly already down. Forest Green could technically get dragged into it, but it's literally between them two, I think, at this moment in time. On the other end of the table, we're obviously not going to finish any lower than second because there's only Hartlepool and Catchers in the 2 remaining games. But, you know, Hartlepool draw, they've had it. I mean, look at that goal difference. Plus 48 is absolutely fantastic to see. And the 5-1 win against Wrexham, and they're like mid-table, 9th, something like higher mid-table. And I think, you know, it just shows how well they've performed this season. So the team is probably going to be unchanged, if I'm being completely honest, from the team that won 5-1. That includes Jack Senior, which he may convince me to sign him on as like a backup left back, because as it stands, we'll have a single left back, because of course the other one is Peter Miggins, who was very good, but he dropped off quite considerably all of a sudden, which allowed Mosley back in. But we'll soon see. So the team as follows: it's going to be Jääskeläinen in goal with Murray, McCarthy, Wright and Senior, the back 4, with a midfield quartet of Gerardo Martin, Walsh, Liddell and Powell. Powell's obviously been awesome this season. You can see there a big standout stat there of 26. Adel Nabi, 26 goals, probably most of them from Powell's crosses, although I know quite clearly that Callum Saunders has like benefited from the crosses as well with his 24 goals. That's not a bad return at all for a player that's apparently 2.5 star in League 2. Sorry, 3 star in League 2. So, enough jibber jabber, into the game. Jääskeläinen 2 star. Is he only going to be 2 star all the way through the game? Port Vale are the favourites. That is the most mind-boggling thing I will ever see. They are 22nd. We are top of the league and already promoted and still have something to fight for, the championship title. Yet we are the outsiders for this game. I find it very bizarre. But let us usually play quite well when we're the underdogs, so let's show them why they're, well, why they should back us, basically. Got a bit of greenery, I'm happy with that. We've got a nervous player, which is not good actually. It's one of the players I'm offering a new contract, but I suppose there's a reason. I just want to say no pressure to you, and just going to go full out. Well, that did a lot after all that messing about. I don't really like to do it where there's people who've got greenery already, because it could change it. I prefer motivated to happy. He looked happy. Yeah, but happy is not the same as motivated. I'd say you keep the good form because you were excellent last time out. That much is true. I mean, only Jääskeläinen got less than a 7 in the last 5 games. We are in a rich vein of form. So getting into this game in the early stages, Lidl has been absolutely instrumental in keeping the midfield solid in all these games. In the build-up to these last 2. Walsh has a shot there from the free kick all of a sudden. I was nodding off there because there hadn't been a single highlight. It seemed to last forever. A booking, that was about it. But yeah, free kick. He has scored one in this season, I think. Dean Conte has a throw. It's a dangerous attack potentially for Port Vale, but it's been given straight away to Senior. Senior sends Saunders down the line. He's got Adel Nabi in the box if he can find it, but instead he opts to get tackled by Stevens like a massive schmuck that he is. He clears to Gomez, but right there with a towering header. But unfortunately it's lost out by Walsh. But Lidl now chips it forward for Nabi. Great control. Can he finish? It's hit the post, and it's cleared away by number 5. Right, is there a chance for us to attack again? Nabi down this right hand side. Fed in well by Lidl. Now it's Powell, chips it forward towards Saunders, who heads it home. I actually thought it might have been offside, but the assistant referee is walking back, so I'm not going to complain at all. That will do it. I've got the latest scores on here as well, which I need to mention. So Nabi gets it, squares it to Powell. Yeah, I think there could have been an element of offside there. Let me know what you think, because I'm pretty sure there was no one down here to play him on. Hartlepool, the team we need to look at. Looks like they're going to be joining us anyway. They're losing against Yeovil. Yeovil needing that win to go up. Chesterfield are going to be the team that misses out, and they spent some real money for League 2 in the transfer window. Geraldo Martin, I hope it's not a bad injury because I've just asked him to have a new contract. Right, so we've had a few bookings in this half, and obviously the injury to Geraldo Martin stands out. He's probably going to come off because it was a dead leg. Robert Finnan, who has come into the squad because of the injury. Oh, I've just realised Crowder's back from injury. Never mind. He can play in the last game of the season. He's going to be the only change, I think, this half. All I'm going to say is the usual sort of thing. Things are going well, but I know that you're capable of even better. Try and get as much greenery as possible. So Port Vale get the second half underway, and straight away they give it to Walsh, which I'm not going to complain. Saunders has it now and plays it to Nabi, and it is just a false highlight even. Potentially another injury. Unless it was an injury to their man. But ball is played in the Jääskeläinen and claims it. But Walsh has got it in the middle of the park now. He's lost out though to Gomez. And Dean Conte knocks it forward to Capend. And now it's Sarah Connor. Knocks it inside to Capend. And now it's Holman, but Wright is there. He's been awesome this season. Nabi's got it now. Tried to play a 1-2 with Saunders, and he's done it really well. He's cleaned through 1-on-1, and that is a terrible, terrible miss by the big man up front, even though he's probably only about 2'7", slightly taller than Grimshaw. Murray to Powell from the throw. Now it's Murray again. Can he whip in a decent ball? He does. But Sarkic, the keeper, makes no mistake with it and claims it well. Now the ball's kicked long towards Capend. McCarthy heads away. And now it's Mick Foley. Plays it out wide again to Sarah Connor. It's a decent-ish attempt at a ball, but Senior cuts it out, but he's giving it away at the same time, and then somehow gets mauled forward, if you saw that there. And now there's a dangerous attack on Holman. What the hell happened there? That seemed to hit Jääskeläinen, hit the post, hit Jääskeläinen, hit the post, hit Jääskeläinen and go in. And it's not down as a Jääskeläinen own goal. This will be an interesting replay. Played in. Suspicions of offside. Oh, about a million deflections. A million deflections later. And still, I can't beat Port Vale. I got there in the end somehow. So we've got another highlight here, and Capend is trying to get on the end of that ball, but it's never going to be right in the air. Never. See? Thou shall not pass. I might rename him Gandalf or something. Gandalf the Grey. That's a terrible ball by Naby. It's very much unlike him. Caphen plays it out wide to Connor. Connor swings it into Holman again. That's a great tackle. Great save, but unfortunately Caphen eludes the tackle, which is what I was trying to say. I mean, now we find ourselves 2-1 down, and are we choking, or is it the fact that it seems that Hartlepool are going to let us off the hook, and we're going to win by default because they are still losing to Yeovil, courtesy of a Naby goal. I'm going to bring Hesenthaler on for Liddell, and the only reason I'm bringing him on for Liddell is because he's been booked. He's got a bit more creativity about him as well as Hesenthaler. Let's give him a go for about 20 minutes or so, 15-20 minutes, and then we'll see about bringing Bate on at the end. So that change has done absolutely nothing with Jake Hesenthaler, not a single highlight. So Johnny Bate hasn't stopped him getting a 7 out of 10, by the way. But Johnny Bate is going to come on, and it is going to be Saunders, because I know he's scored, but he's got a 7 out of 10 as opposed to Adel Naby's 7.4. So come on, Bate, show your worth. You've dropped off a little bit recently. It's time to show your worth and at least get us a point. I think a point would probably be enough, even if Hartlepool do get 2 late goals, because as it stands, they are still losing, and they're going to win it for us. I think we don't deserve it if we're going to lose on the day against 22nd in the league. I mean, as if they were favourites. What's that all about? Couple of minutes to go. It looks like this is going to be all she wrote. I mean, they've matched us as well. I mean, it's less possession than normal. They actually going to get the last chance as well, which is... I mean, I suppose they are a team fighting for their lives. We were only aimed for promotion. We've got promotion, and now we've won the league by not winning. In fact, not even drawing. So I'm disappointed. But, you know, it is what it is. Good performances around. You know, we are up as champions anyway, so we can still celebrate. And we have a home game against Accrington Stanley to celebrate. So hopefully join us for the team selection in just a while. So here we are now, ready to play Accrington Stanley. The team is going to be changed because 2 loanees have left because I misjudged the time that they would have to go back. I had Liddell, of course, and Tamori, I think it was. And I had them both on loan for 2 months when I could have had them for 3. I chose 2 months thinking there's no point having them for an extra month, because usually it means you don't get a chance to sign them on loan again if they are good enough. So it is a massive shame. So it does mean that Hesenthaler is going to start the last game of the season, and it also means that we are going to have a few other faces on the bench. So Lewis Dunn, you haven't really featured this much this season because of your long-term injury. You did alright last season for us in the Vanarama National League, but unfortunately you're just not going to cut it as a ball-winning midfielder. Your tackling stat is only 9, aggression's only 7. It's not really what we need. Hesenthaler's is only 9 aggression and his tackling's 11, so unfortunately he does get a bit of an advantage over you. Geraldo Martin did get an injury last time, so he's going to be changed as well because he's only on 83. He has signed a new contract now though, so he will be here for the next 2 years. I did only want to sign him on for another year, but unfortunately his agent asked for 2 years minimum and locked it down. Powell is definitely someone I want to keep next season. He's been absolutely fantastic. Even in our loss, he got in the last game he got the assist. It would seem. Piers Kerr, really sad about him because he was such a big part of our success this season. He cannot be forgotten. He played 22 games and 5 sub-appearances and did ever so well for us in that time. So yeah, we don't really have anyone else that we could put in apart from Lewis Dunn that can play that midfield role. So this is the team we're going to go with. Jääskeläinen in goal, Murray, McCarthy, Wright and Senior once again in the back 4. Crowther starts on the left, Powell on the right, Hesenthaler born a winning midfielder with Walsh the roaming playmaker. Obviously done really well this season as well with a 7.49 average rating. Not got that many assists, but it does play really well there, so I can't really complain. Not as well obviously as much as Adel Naby, who was one of the front runners to win the Player of the Season, which would be the first time I've had that happen on this Football Manager. So that would be very good. And Saunders, having just signed a new contract for the next 2 years, the 25-year-old, he's going to start and hopefully get a couple of goals just to justify that new contract. They haven't had massive pay increases. Probably the most notable is Adel Naby's. I think he's got up to about 1,600 or 700 or 600, and I think he's going to get like a 30% pay increase after getting promoted, which makes me wonder, should I have waited a little bit longer? But this is a chance you take. You might lose these players. Some of them might not be good enough for next season, but I think most of the success for me has been is purely for the fact that I kept the mass of them, or most of them, together. I didn't get rid of loads of them, which is why I'm kind of worried about letting certain players go, quite a lot of them. Obviously the loanees have helped massively as well, especially Powell in particular. But like Josh Murray's staying for another year, we're going to have Jake McCarthy for another year, Ackle Wright's going to stay for another year. Jack Senior's still got time to convince me, being a little bit younger than Mosley. Hesenthaler's staying, Walsh is staying, Naby is staying, Saunders is staying. Jaskine has already signed a new contract earlier on in the season, which I think I forgot to report, but he did only about a month before. But yeah, and getting back into this game, we just hit the post. Walsh with a long range effort against the woodwork. Would have been a great goal, just to finish off the season. Maybe a goal of the season contender. But yeah, basically the bulk of the team is going to be still here. Even Gerardo Martin's going to be here next season as well. So we've nearly got like a full 11. I'd say probably 10 players that are staying next season, which is very pleasing to see. This is the next highlight, believe it or not. About 36 minutes later, Hesenthaler's got the ball now, whips it in towards Powell. Powell controls it well and lays it off for Hesenthaler again. Has a go, and Crowley's there to make it 1-0. Let's make this a party. Promotion party. Andy Crowley with his first goal for East Leeds. Did alright until he got his injury. He had a 6-week injury, I think it was. I think I worked it out that he were going to be back. Oh no, it was 3-week injury, sorry. They were going to be back for the last 2 games. I forgot to include him in the last team, but hopefully he's going to make amends now by scoring 6 goals or something like that. Robson with a decent save, but powering it straight to an opposition player, which always happens if you're playing FIFA, you might notice. You've got 18 players around one man, and it always goes to the one man. That's half time. Worth noting, I didn't really pay much attention to Accrington Stanley. Who are they? They're like 16th in the league, so it definitely is like a dead rubber. They ain't got anything to play for. We don't have anything to play for. So I'm just going to say things are going well, but you're capable of even better. Hopefully we'll get some greenery. We didn't get any, but you know what? Even though they're switched off, I don't care. We've won the league. So this is probably going to be a false highlight, but I'll try and commentate on it best I can. Hart plays the long ball towards Wood, but Wright is there, like the monster that he is, and mauls everyone out of the way to get there and take the ball down. So here we have got another highlight. I was just about to make a sub because there hasn't been really anything happening, but Hesenthaler's got it. Plays it went to Senior, the ginger-quiffed assassin, and finds Crowther in a decent position to cross, and Saunders is there. 2 bites at the cherry, but the keeper with 2 excellent saves. And changes will now be made. As you can see, we have got yellow cards for McCarthy and Jack Senior. Probably leave them on though because it's the last game of the season. Why not? Gerardo Martin probably will come on a bit later on. He deserves to come on just for how he's done in the last few weeks. Yeah, so I think what we are going to do, Lewis Dunn is probably going to come on. I probably will play him in the ball-winning midfielder role. In fact, no, Lewis Dunn, you can play. You can have a bit of fun. You can play in the roaming playmaker role. A bit of a hero's farewell. I think it's probably the best way to put it. Not really been given a fair crap, but that's because of the changing tactics. He was seen as a box-to-box midfield maverick, but unfortunately it wasn't really working out at the end of last season, and he kind of dropped down the pecking order. He did get injured at the end of last season. So we've got 17 minutes or so left. Let's bring on Gerardo Martin. Andy Crowther, you've done your job. You've scored a goal. Good lad. I think Grimshaw gets a farewell as well. I think we put him on for Jake McCarthy. He's no way being a poor performer today, but it's just about a farewell for him. He's probably going to concede, which will be fitting for him really. And it'll probably be a header because he can't defend headers because he's not the tallest. I say this, and I'm even shorter than him, but they're 1m74. Hesenthaler with a long ball whipped in, and Naby collects a loose one. It's back to Wright, who was in an unfamiliar left-back role for some reason. Here's Dunn. Now it's Hesenthaler. Tries to feed in Saunders, but it's cleared away. Wright heads away the clearance only as far as Mingola, which is an awesome name if you ask me. Crooks chips it forward to Windass. That's the son of Dean Windass, I think. Now it's Fielding. He's in behind and he's hit the post. Jääskeläinen beaten, but it was a tight angle to be fair. Mingola with the resulting corner. Whips it in. Headed away by that man right. He's an absolute tower at the back. Hesenthaler just beats Mingola to the ball and knocks it out for a throw. But now we've got it on the attack and now it's done exchanging passes with Senior, setting up for the throw. Grimshaw feeds it to Murray and now it's Powell. Can he get away from his man? He looks to try and dribble around him. Instead he whips a decent-ish looking ball, but it's intercepted by Golding. And Grimshaw does well to intercept the clearance. Done though now. He's fouled by Crooks. Matt Crooks is going to go here. He's already had a yellow card. And indeed it is. I thought either that's going to be a really speculative effort that goes into the top left-hand corner or something. But no, Hesenthaler takes it short. So that's more his style. That's Geraldo. He's tackled well by Hart in the penalty area. And Mingola clears away. And that's probably going to be game over. It is. 1-0. We finished the season in style. We finished 4 points clear of Hartlepool. So it doesn't look like it would have mattered anyway, the fact that they lost to Yeovil. But yeah, well done lads. Very well done. We've won the league. Thank you very much for performing for me this season. 86 points. It's not the highest total in the world if you look at the Vanarama National League. And look at Stevenage's total table. Look at Stevenage here. They've got 106 points. Far better than ours. But if we go to ours, we've scored 104 goals. That's the most goals I've scored on any Football Manager for quite some time, that. We've conceded a lot. 56 goals. 6 against Bury. What the hell's that? Crew was conceded 5 in one game. 4 goals against Port Vale. Port Vale, 21st, they survived. Not surprised really, if I'm honest. But yeah, 104 goals. Far more than anyone else. Did you actually catch that? Gatch. I don't know what Gatch is. 90 goals, yeah, more than them. Have we got more than any other league? 68, 89. Looks like the highest there, Southend. It's a team we're not going to be playing next season. That's actually quite an interesting thing I will look at actually. At the minute it is still the playoffs in the Championship. 80 goals, looks like the highest there, which isn't that high. And then one more, Premier League. As you can look at this as you're going through it. I don't think Chelsea are going to beat our record there. So it looks like we're going to be the top scorers for the entire top 7 tiers of the Football League, which is very pleasing. 7? No. 5. I didn't look at North, but I suppose I could do. See how our old team are doing. Curzon Ashton finished 10th. And no one scored more than 68 goals, which means that was a very boring league, if you ask me. Yeah, so let's have a look at the League One. These are the teams we're going to be facing next season. I'll have a quick look at Championship as well for the teams that are coming down. Not going to be facing Birmingham, which is probably a good thing. Remember we played them when we were Curzon Ashton for all those long-term watchers, and we drew 1-1 with them. I think it was. That was a good day. Southend, we're going to avoid them because they're going into the Championship. And then one of Walsall, Peterborough, Preston and Brighton. Of those teams, I probably favoured not to play Brighton, I want to say. They seem like a dangerous side. Well, I'm surprised they're there, to be honest with you, because in real life, as you know, they're higher up in the league. They're in the playoffs, I think, at the minute. We're not going to be playing Blackpool. We're not going to be playing Oxford. Newport County and Scunthorpe. I'm not so really surprised about these two. Scunthorpe, a bit more so. But Blackpool, they're obviously in decline. We know that anyway in real life, but looks like the time has now come to actually drop out of League One. Championship table, we're going to be facing Rotherham, Ipswich and MK Dons. Ipswich will not be easy, I would imagine. MK Dons, they probably overstayed the welcome in this league, if I'm being completely honest, as I have probably Rotherham. I mean, Rotherham in real life, 2 consecutive promotions. They're fighting relegation now. They probably will stay out of it, in my opinion. I think they'll just have enough about them. But yeah, that's going to be tough. And obviously in our league as well, just quickly go to it, it's going to be Hartlepool and Chesterfield and one of Yeovil, Colchester, Wrexham and Northampton. I'll take Wrexham after beating them 5-1. But to be honest with you, I think if we go to our losses, we lost to Northampton twice. That's a team probably I would look to avoid. We lost to Wrexham at home 2-1. and we didn't lose. Oh yeah, we lost 1-0 to Colchester, so we have lost some more apart from Yeovil, which we have beaten. Hopefully I've enjoyed this season firstly, and this, well, I suppose firstly this video, but the season as a whole, it's got to be worth a like, hasn't it? And if you think you're going to be able to join us for the next season and you haven't already subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. I think it's going to be a very entertaining season in League One. And yeah, and if you think anyone else who you know might enjoy this series, then go ahead and show them in the direction of my channel. That'd be greatly appreciated. But until that point, when we'll probably show you all the new signings, transfers, etc. Then we'll see you then. Bye bye.